Did you get feedback on from his daughter about, like, did she see those same transformations that you saw?
Oh, absolutely. And she said at home the transformation was amazing. You know, he'd gone into kind of a depressive state, very isolating, pushing people away. And she said it was like she had her dad back.
Hello, my name is Blake Furman. I'm the founder of Veterans Navigation Network, a local nonprofit in Billings, Montana, that serves veterans as they transition from military service to civilian life. That can be a lifelong challenge, but thankfully we get to work with a lot of people and groups that want to assist in that challenge. And I'm here today with one of those, Amanda Tusler from Horses, Spirits, Healing. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Blake.
Thanks for coming today and for giving an overview of Horses, Spirits, Healing, what people can expect of the program, and what your role is there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So if you could, just for our viewers who are not familiar with Horses, Spirits, Healing, could you just give us an overview of what the program looks like, what the mission is, and kind of the different services provided by Horses, Spirits, Healing?
Absolutely. Yeah, so our mission is heroes achieving results with horses, heart, spirit, and respect. So when Paul Gatzmeyer and Barb Skelton founded Horses, Spirits, Healing, really their goal and their mission was to give back to veterans and their families for their service, but also to honor Paul's father, who was a World War II veteran. And really their idea and their passion is to help veterans reintegrate back into the community after their service. So our program's really all about veteran-driven goals, so the veterans really get to set the pace. We offer therapeutic riding. So for people who may have mental health diagnoses or physical diagnoses, so the therapeutic riding is benefit in multiple capacities. We have adaptive riding and adaptive sports. So once people move past the initial beginning levels of riding, they can do like ultimate frisbee on horseback, roping, trail riding, just expand their skills more. We have equine-assisted psychotherapy, where we have a mental health professional and an equine specialist work together and provide sessions that are based on the ground, and those groups specialize for veterans with post-traumatic stress. And we also do have a small driving program. We have a miniature horse that pulls a cart.
Yeah.
So
A whole lot of different options for people and for veterans. And you guys serve more than just veterans, though. You are hoping to serve first responders. Is that true?
that is true, yes. Originally our goal started as serving veterans and their families, but we realized there is a need in that first responder community, so we've been opening up our programming to them as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times veterans end up getting into those fields anyways, so I'm sure it's kind of a two birds with one stone kind of scenario. Trying not to kill them, though. Kill them with therapy. So talk about really what part of the equine, I mean, I think probably a lot of people viewing, and myself, 10 years ago, I would have thought therapy was sitting in front of a counselor, almost like we're sitting right now, and
Right.
just talking about our problems, and maybe they get better, maybe they don't. So talk about the equine piece of that and what makes that therapeutic.
Yeah, so I think it differs a lot from your traditional therapy. Obviously, you're outside, you're not in a traditional counselor setting, but the horses are just so receptive to people. They're really great at what we call mirroring. So if somebody comes in anxious, excited, or elevated in some way, the horses will pick up on that energy and they provide immediate feedback. So they might get excited, they might get a little nervous or shifty. So they really provide that mirror so that we can kind of check in with people and say, hey, your horse is acting this way, how are you feeling today? And they provide that biofeedback. But also I've seen, especially some of our older, more experienced horses, they actually bring people back down and help ground them and bring them into the moment, which is what I think it's all about. They provide a space to be in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I recently actually started using the program myself, and we typically at Veterans Navigation Network, we don't try to send veterans to places or organizations that we aren't willing to use ourselves. And so
Yeah.
I noticed that specifically for myself. You know, I hate being late. It was something kind of left over from the military, and I think I've been late to all of our sessions so far. And so I actually was very anxious one of the times that we've come in, you know, trying to meet my family there as well. So that they can participate, and just really anxious and just focusing on the horse and you know, what I was supposed to be doing at the moment, just kind of brought that down. You know, it took a few minutes, but it just kind of helped me, yeah, just ground myself and focus on what I was supposed to be, which was the horse and my family. And yeah, so it really has worked for me in that sense. And yeah, I guess that is something that is new to me, but you probably know it just with your certification as a PATH certified instructor, as well as an equine specialist in mental health and learning. Can you talk about those credentials and what they really mean?
Yes, right, kind of a lot of letters.
Yeah.
So PATH International itself is the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship. So it's an international organization that can accredit centers as well as individual members. So really what it means is we are held to a higher caliber in the therapeutic riding industry. I think PATH is pushing for that credential to be more well known, especially in the mental health communities or further than that even. But within the therapeutic riding community, it does mean that we have higher standards of safety. Our instructors have a little bit more knowledge than maybe your average instructor in physical disabilities, mental health, but also just how to provide quality lessons, safe lessons. So yeah, we're a premier accredited center. All of our instructors are either certified or working on their certification. All of us will have a CTRI, which is Certified Therapeutic Riding Instructor. So people with the CTRI can provide lessons to people on the ground or people who are mounted on a horse. Safely and efficiently. And ESMHL is Equine Specialist in Mental Health and Learning. So I hold that certification, and I can be the equine specialist in our equine-assisted psychotherapy groups. So groups in conjunction with counselors or mental health professionals, where we focus a little bit more on the mental health impact of being around horses.
So, I mean, it's not like you just found a horse in the backyard and decided you're going to open this program. Like, you guys are truly professionals. I just am curious, what made you want to get into this field of work? I mean, one, just the equine therapy piece, but then two, why veterans? Why that community?
Right. So originally I wanted to get into therapeutic riding. Actually, it was a volunteer project for middle school. We had to go out in the community, do some community service hours, and I was talking to my mom, and she's like, hey, well, you know, there's this great place in Park City, Utah, where they serve individuals with disabilities, and they have an equine program. I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. So she and I started doing it together, volunteering together, and I really, really liked it. And I was like, okay, well, how can I make a career out of this? So I decided to look for colleges that had programs in therapeutic riding, found Rocky Mountain College, went through their 4-year program, and then Horses Spirits Healing was actually getting started while I was at Rocky. So I volunteered for Horses Spirits Healing as a college student. So upon my impending graduation, I needed a job. So I asked them if they were hiring, and they said, yeah, we'll consider it, and then hired me as the lead instructor and then program director. So pretty fortuitous. And as far as why veterans, I don't have many connections with the veteran community. I don't know many veterans, but I worked with them at that center in Park City, and it was really amazing. A lot of them came in very gruff, very not too sure about it, really. You know, they were kind of standoffish. They were like, oh, horses, meh. But then by the end of the hour-and-a-half session we had with them, completely transformed. Like, they were so much softer. They were like, that was amazing. I can't believe I ever doubted it. This was so cool. So I was like, okay, wow, this was really powerful experience for them. So I want to help this group of people who served our country, because I saw what a difference it made for those guys.
That's really cool. So,
yeah.
You don't necessarily have, I guess, did you have any family members that served in the military, or was it really just those individuals that you got to work with in Utah that really made that impact?
Really, mostly those individuals in Utah. My mother's father served, but unfortunately passed when I was very young, so I never got to know him. But yeah, so
Yeah.
just wanted to give back.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this TV show, or kind of this video channel, is just around, a lot of these veterans are passing away, and we not only get the opportunity to highlight, service providers like yourself through the show, but we also get to highlight some veteran stories. So we've had some vets come on and kind of share their story, and I had the same thing happen. My grandfather passed when I was really young. I didn't even know he was in the military until after he passed, and so I just want to give that opportunity for people to share their story and have it, recorded, so that their family members can maybe see some of the experiences that they had, or at least have some memory of that, where, I know I missed out on it. Kind of sounds like you had the same experience. So but that's cool. I think it's definitely speaks highly of you that you saw the need and were willing to work with old grumpy vets, because we can definitely be that. I actually had a vet that we were working with in our office earlier today, and he had a sweatshirt that old grumpy vet on.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, that's immediately what I thought of when you said that. So, all right. Well, tell me about the specific challenges that you think equine therapy, I know you mentioned the PTSD as one, but what are some specific challenges that the equine therapy really can help our veterans with?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So a lot of the things I've seen over the years, veterans tend to be very reserved, very closed off, some of them when I meet them. So I think the horses really provide a space for them to feel a little more comfortable. There's other veterans around. They kind of start to build a community again, and it's just amazing to see how open they are with other veterans, especially. So I'd say becoming more vulnerable, which I know can be hard for a lot of veterans, but it also just gives them a space to be, kind of like I mentioned earlier, a space to be in the moment, to be present, which they don't always get a lot of other places. I see a lot of them come in, they're busy from work or with the family, or they've just got a lot of things going on, but once they come in, our barn's kind of quiet, it's out of the way, they start brushing the horse or working with the horse, everything seems to just kind of settle down. So I think that's really valuable to them as well. And, whether they want to talk to us, they want to talk to the horse, or just be quiet and brush the horse, it gives them that time to just start to relax.
Yeah. You've kind of alluded to a couple of success stories, but is there, without sharing any names, is there any specific story of you, just somebody that you worked with in Billings at Horses Spirits Healing, that you just saw that you kind of mentioned the transformation, but I mean, any specific stories you want to share with us?
Yeah, definitely. A gentleman I worked with a couple of years back who's since passed, unfortunately, but his daughter was actually the one who approached me and said, hey, I think my father might be interested in this. He grew up raising horses, went on backcountry packing trips with horses, but since he had his leg amputated, he hasn't been able to ride. And I said, okay, we'll bring him on out, we'll give him the tour, we'll let him watch a lesson with one of my other veterans who also has an amputation, to kind of let him see how we would do things. So he came out with his daughter. He was very apprehensive, not too sure at all what this was about. The therapy connotation kind of gets a lot of people. But once he saw what we do and how we do it, he was a little more receptive. So I said, just come back for the first lesson, we'll take it slow. He did. And then he started to get into it more, started to open up a little bit more, and then before you know it, he was on a horse riding. We started with some, side walkers and leaders with him, people around him just for safety, but soon he didn't need any of that. Besides getting him on and off the horse, he could ride completely independently. He was actually training the horse to respond to new cues, since he was missing that leg, and he and the horse just clicked. So he just excelled. He was going to be on my drill team, and just amazing to see how much he and that horse connected and how far he came.
Yeah. Did you get feedback on from his daughter about, like, did she see those same transformations that you saw?
Oh, absolutely. And she said at home the transformation was amazing. You know, he'd gone into kind of a depressive state, very isolating, pushing people away. And she said it was like she had her dad back because he had excelled and met all of his goals. He was able to kind of get back into what he wanted. It kind of brought him back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there is definitely ways for people to get involved because, I mean, aside from just participating in the program, you guys need volunteers. I'm sure donations are appreciated. Where is the best place for people to find those opportunities?
Yeah, so to look for opportunities for volunteering or donating, people can visit our Facebook page. We have Facebook and Instagram, Horses Spirits Healing Inc., or our website, horsesspiritshealing.org. We have links on both for donating and volunteer opportunities.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I just want to say to our audience and our viewers, you know, if this is a program that you're interested in connecting with, you can also reach out to Veterans Navigation Network, and we can do an introduction to Amanda or to the program, or if there's other modalities, maybe horses aren't what's for you and your realm, maybe you want to talk to somebody face-to-face with counseling. Whatever modality of therapy is right for you, we can make that connection. Whatever you need as a veteran or a family member of a veteran, we can try to find you the right person to help you with whatever you're going through. And we really just want to see our veterans and their families succeed, not only in Yellowstone County, but in Montana and our whole country. So thank you for those of you who have served that are watching, and just thank you to all of you for watching and tuning in today as we share this awesome opportunity for veterans in Yellowstone County.